I just barely got this one in under the wire. Violent Night. If you're seeing this review, it's probably a little late for me to advise you to go out and see it if you want to make it in time for the holidays. But you know what? If you don't care, go seek it out. This is a real good time. This is the movie that, the trailer sold it pretty much as Die Hard, but it stars Santa. And it's pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. This follows a wealthy family, most of whom do not like each other, gathering together for the holidays. They are captured. Their home is invaded by armed, dangerous people looking to get a big payout. And at the same time, Santa shows up. The Santa. Flying reindeer, magic, all of it. And he gets roped into trying to save this family because, well, there's a little girl in there who's on the nice list. And these people that are waving the guns around, they are very much on the naughty list. And it really properly is Die Hard. And I don't just mean that, and I mean like original Die Hard. And I don't just mean that in the sense of, lone person up against they look like they might be terrorists with weapons who are really just there to steal stuff and all those sorts of things. Like, that's all there, but like, here's a big part of it that I wasn't sure was going to be there. You ever rewatch the first Die Hard? John McClane gets the crap beaten out of him. You can tell he is hurting. That is Santa in this. He is going to dish out a lot of punishment, but he's going to take a lot too. And that's part of what makes him really fun. David Harbour is a real good fit for this because this is a Santa that at the start of the movie is a bit frustrated. He's a bit jaded. He's considering packing it all in, and he sells that. But then he finds that reason to keep going and fully commits, and David Harbour sells that. There's the sincerity to this that you don't generally see in what is admittedly a silly premise for a holiday movie. Generally, things like this, you're just going to get these big overblown performances, and there are small moments like that, but for the most part, everybody's playing this pretty much the same as they would be if this was a more straightforward Die Hard movie and there was no magical aspects to it at all. People are committed to playing these parts as one would in any other movie, with only, like, as I said, one or two exceptions. But it's just good. It's funny. It is surprisingly heartfelt. At times, there is more depth to some of the characters than you would expect, and the ones who don't have more depth usually is for the sake of comedy, and for the most part, it works. The kid is great. Like, I don't get to say that very often. The child actress, the girl playing Trudy, she's terrific. I'm not saying she's an amazing actress necessarily, but she works really, really well in this. I didn't even recognize Beverly D'Angelo as sort of the matriarchal grandmotherly figure. Oh, she's good too. And John Leguizamo is a very solid villain in this. Yep, he brings exactly what you'd want to this part. And the action scenes, some of them are a little underlit. I will say that it was less of a problem going to see it in the theater because, as I have kind of noted when I've complained about underlit stuff, that's at its worst in a home viewing, because if you do not have a TV that has incredibly good handling of blacks and darks and all the nuances involved in that, and if you don't have that, and or like there's a window or a secondary light source in the room where you're watching it, suddenly you can barely see anything. That's a much bigger problem when it shows up in like streaming shows or whatnot, because like it's meant to be viewed at home. Why are you filming it as if you was going to be projected in a theater? This is projected in a theater, so while I do think it is a little darker than I would like at some points, especially the brawl in the barn, which action-wise is the highlight, it just gets by here. I do worry that watching on a home viewing, it's going to be a little too dark. It's hard to know. That's me kind of making assumptions, but I could still see it well enough in the theater, which is part of why I am going to encourage people to go and see it in the theater. There's also just surprising, like, well thought out little beats just in terms of Santa. So, like, whenever the Christmas magic stuff comes up, he himself freely admits he doesn't know how it works. And we don't, like, get a full proper origin story. We get, like, little hints, but it's not like we find out how he became Santa and how he started doing that, because the answers to a lot of it are, I don't know, it's Christmas magic, kid. I don't even get it. And honestly, that's great. I love that. We are in an epidemic of over explaining stuff, and a lot of our entertainment right now is like, it's magic, it just works. Well, does he know how it works? No. It just works. Great. Awesome. That's fantastic. And it's just got just the right amount of taking it seriously, but also understanding that it is ridiculous, but not doing big, massive winks to the audience. It's like this thing is self-aware enough to understand that what it's doing is ridiculous, but it also knows enough to realize that it's going to go down better if it takes it mostly seriously. One other complete side note, because I feel like this is a little bit of a redemptive moment. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who sort of plays the father of Trudy, the character's name is Jason. I recognized him immediately, but I wasn't quite sure where from. It took me about between a third and half the movie to realize where the heck I'd seen him from. So he played Vicious in the live-action Cowboy Bebop, which was a show I hated. And I especially hated Vicious. I mean, I didn't like Vicious in the original Cowboy Bebop, but I super hated him in that. He's good in this. And so that just felt nice, because I don't like to assume that an actor is just bad, because, you know, there are all kinds of reasons a performance can be bad. You know, maybe the actor was miscast and the role they were put in for just wasn't going to work. Maybe the script just sucks. Maybe they were given bad or conflicting or confusing directions from the director. So, you know, there are any number of reasons why you can get a bad performance. And I don't like to default to the idea that the actor just sucks. That's partially a bias. I act when I can. But this does convert to me, okay, you're not a horrible actor. I think just everything else went wrong. I think you were miscast. I think the script sucked. And I think the director probably didn't know what to do with it. So, I don't know. It's just nice to see an actor who was terrible the first time I took notice of them do something. I'm like, oh no, you are actually pretty good. Oh, good. Oh, that just feels nice. That's just a random tangent. But, like, I don't have that much in-depth to say, because there isn't a lot of hidden depths to this thing. It is exactly what it looks like. But that's what I wanted. And so I'm happy. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon's what pays the bills, allows me to do this as my living. There's also a link in the description, plus to other things that I do and ways you can support all of this stuff. But don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break.
End of the video, so I gotta shout out my top patrons. Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfulla, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Oliver B., Angus Bjarnason, Melinda Walters, Imudelki, The Oath of Boyd, Katoria, Toy Lowly, Becky Sparks, Fernambulax the Poodle, Zach, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Tim Price, Adam R.D.L. Taylor, Shayla Gourlay, and Brendan LaRose. Thanks for your support. If you want to hear me probably mispronounce your name as well, check out the rewards on the Patreon. How you doing there?